Let me ask you a simple question. Is life better for kids today than it was when you were a kid? Many of us would say no. Sadly, most research on the well-being of children echoes our thoughts. So what was different when you were a kid? You remember. We used to know our neighbors. We looked out for each other's kids.
The support systems around families are no longer there. Extended family has disappeared. Neighborhoods do not seem to be connected for the most part anymore.
It is very important for neighbors to know each other's children because we're facing very tough times out there. We unfortunately do not know our neighbors because we don't actually spend any time as a community together.
Some say those days are gone, that we are naive to assume we can recapture those times. But that's not so. Here in Tarrant County, there are a number of neighbors working together to reestablish that sense of neighborhood community, and it's working.
We felt like that something had to change, and it couldn't be a program, it had to be essentially culture change, where you have to take it to the absolute grassroots level. It is time to build our neighborhoods and our community around caring about children.
They are building children's neighborhood networks, partnering with local faith communities in neighborhoods or with apartment management in apartment communities. Neighbors who care about reaching out to other families are succeeding in restoring that neighborhood spirit we remember as kids.
The way that the neighbors in both the neighborhood and the apartment community built their children's neighborhood network is they started with one person who is passionate enough about this idea to have that person be the one they rally around for the first year.
I think a children's neighborhood network is really focused on building social capital in neighborhoods. It's focused on relationships among people within the neighborhood and creating an environment that makes it a place of safety, but also makes it a place of community.
I think it's important for our apartment community members to get connected because there's more of a sense of a neighborhood. Children are running in the streets, they're playing, on the patios, in the staircases. You want to feel comfortable and know your neighbors.
Part of how we do the Children's Neighborhood Network is we build in neighborhood walks. You go out into the neighborhood, deliver newsletters, invite people to meetings, but you're going out in the neighborhood door knocking at least once a month.
One of the things I think we've seen is a softening of this kind of hardness toward strangers. Once they realized that we were trying to help them develop their neighborhood to be a more friendly, loving environment.
I think we have a lot of elderly people in the neighborhood that need our socialization that they may or may not be receiving.
When you pull together your neighborhood leadership team, instead of having them come together and have kind of a broad, well, what are we going to do? Part of our model, we decided we would insist that their very first thing that they would do would be to do a neighborhood block party.
I was just surprised to see all these people there, and I knew that we'd worked hard to let everybody know about it, but it was just so thrilling to see so many people show up.
All different kinds of people came together, and it was united, and it was fun. And still people who saw us months earlier are saying, "Oh, you were at the park." And these were always children, so I know it really meant something to them.
People got together just to have a good time. The water balloon toss, the three-legged race, we had dominoes, the chance to share a meal together, the music. There was such an atmosphere of celebration.
The families came out and they played with their children. They did egg on a spoon. They played with their children at the tug-of-war race. It was a great time and they all got together and they participated. There's parents out there that really do care about their children.
What really impressed me was the fact that there were so many different cultures with so many different backgrounds that were completely secluded from each other. and they just were waiting for an opportunity to get involved and get to know each other.
People coming out of their houses now, getting to know who's in their neighborhood, getting to know the businesses getting to know the neighbors, the churches, not staying inside their four walls, but also them coming out and everybody taking ownership of the neighborhood.
The character traits of the people that have stayed involved seem to be people who understand in their heart the need for people to work together in the neighborhood, that this disconnectedness is just not something they will tolerate.
What I had been looking for a long time was a way to help the church become more involved in the neighborhood, not as a matter of evangelizing, but as a matter of being a good neighbor.
There are a lot of families that are young and inexperienced, and they might need an older person's wisdom in certain areas. That's what I would really like to do.
It's not only about the children. It's about family. It's about that single mom or that single father having to raise that child. And without both parents there, it's kind of hard. But if you have a neighborhood and you connect with other people, it's more of the whole fact of it takes a village to raise a child.
I think God is in every single detail of this process. Obviously, the upbuilding of spirit among the people in the neighborhood. It's been wonderful because we have had such energy from people in the neighborhood combined with energy from people in our church, and we've been able to do some things that really have brought people together.
I truly believe that the whole vision and everything that it's growing into is really, it's the heartbeat of God.
Once again, families are coming together in neighborhoods and apartment communities to make sure every child is nurtured and cared for. So, are you the one? That neighbor other folks can rally around? Are you the faith or apartment community who will work to restore that neighborhood spirit? Open your heart today, now, and join us in our efforts to rebuild our neighborhoods, support our families, and protect our children. The Children's Neighborhood Network.